Hello everybody and welcome back to Wappelville. I suppose welcome back to, well, Middle Earth because I just remembered that I have the new, well, not quite so new, but for me, very new, the Huskarl figures from Forgeworld. And what I wanted to do was some fun object source lighting on them, like we've done on all the rest of our Dunlendings. You can see some more pictures sitting over there. We've done a whole bunch of them since this, I think this was one of the original sessions. Yeah, this is one of the very first ones. So we're also doing the same kind of a color scheme on my Wolves of Isengard. And we actually have one of those sitting over here somewhere. Where did he go? There he is. So we'll be doing more of these guys as well. And here, let's go back to these. Now, again, these are forged. This is one of the metal ones right here. It's one of our metal guys. That's a regular Dunlending. Now, I also have, we've got some of the 3D printed ones. This is from the Printing Goes Ever On. Now, no shields here, and the cloaks have fur on them, so we won't be doing a whole lot in the way of, shall we say, freehand. We do have ourselves one of our craft brushes. We got sponges at the ready. We're going to be talking about the palette over here. Now, a lot of the usuals out here, but also some of those radiant colors. So over here you got your white. Don't have the brilliant yellow pale because we have the radiant lemon sitting over here. There's some Terra Rosa there. I might grab some, or sorry, Fanchon Red. Might grab some Terra Rosa if I really feel like I need it. I do have a little bit of Egyptian Violet over here. Now up on this top row, ironically enough, those can be considered opaque colors. There are two fluorescents here. And of course these are the homemade fluorescents that I made for myself, and actually I've got to mix some more of those because, well, I think I've basically used them all up. Now we got a couple of radiant colors over here. That's the turquoise and the blue. Pretty much just leftover from a video last night. We got these right here of indigo, black spinel, Van Dyke brown. Might have to put some more Van Dyke brown out there. We got some asphaltum over here along the bottom row. We got some Indian yellow. You got your radiant green. We're going to do the non-object source lighting bit first here. And it's really nothing special, is it? All right, well, Landrest, sorry that I couldn't start a little bit earlier so that we could hang out for a bit, but I'm supposed to be streaming tomorrow and Saturday, possibly even Sunday. So hopefully we get to do that hangout, as we got deck night in there as well. Yeah, Megan, it's been challenging to say the least. That's for sure. And I was just, Kathy and I, we were just saying, well, maybe we can finally start to get the rig back on the road here. And, well, that happened, which was less fun, of course. Hey, Rascal, how you doing? Nice to see you, too. I might just have to do a little bit of, just a bit of thinner into this. Now, of course, again, our source lighting's over here, so this stuff, not going to be catching too much of that. It means it has to be cooler, it has to be grayed down. Defiant, how you doing again? Nice to see you. Boy, Defiant, I'm sorry that I'm not able to do a landscape today. It's just, there's just too many crazy things going on right now. I just have to kind of do the things that are sort of shovel ready. Let's get it, move on to the next one. A little bit of our fluorescent red, little bit of our asphaltum here. Well, Vitbud, I can relate to. Yeah, because I'm going to have to start moving stuff again, mostly because I may just get, like, if there's an Anycubic that, well, I think they're what, like $150 or something. I'm almost on the verge of selling something and just getting one of those and leave it in the box just in case, this happens again, just so I can have it there. But that means I got to make space for all that. So yes, I understand the never-ending task of just constantly moving everything all the time. It gets really annoying, doesn't it? So Rascal, hopefully that was helpful. And again, you can see how we're starting with the object source lighting. We're not finishing with it. And it doesn't matter whether doesn't matter about the color either. You can go back and watch this session. I just did this, last week? And of course, here's another thing. Doesn't matter what the color is. There's some magenta, and I think we just did this one on Sunday. Yeah, I think this was the Sunday session right here. Again, we started with this. We didn't end with that. We started with it. Let's see. Actually, yeah, Vetbod, the I remember, was it Crepaz or something like that? I remember where you kind of put the colors underneath, and then you go with the dark stuff over the top of it, and then you scratch it away, and it reveals all that color under there. Yeah, I always wanted to do that when I was a kid. And of course, oil pastels would be way, way, way better than those nasty old Crepaz. Yeah, so Rascal, you can also, this one's on the, pretty sure this is on the YouTube channel maybe, right here. This is their Schmandoff. Again, doesn't matter what the color is, the same principles apply. So yeah, Dark Elf, I'm using the last of it here. So I basically have to make, well, at least of the orange stuff, I have to make new containers. I did make one with the green. Rascal, not necessarily. Not necessarily. This, because of the flames right here, this is a little bit more intense because the flames are just right on top of them there. And of course, this is all, a lot of this is going to get wiped away. And of course, the other thing that makes a big difference here is that, well, these are opaque, whereas most fluorescent paints are super translucent. So we would have to be taking a very different approach if we were using, say, the translucent oil paints, or if we were using, well, cadmium colors, because, well, those are going to take a long time to dry. All right, well, we're just trying to, again, get the primer covered as much as possible, and the primer is just the same old Badger Stynylrez. Nothing crazy about it. All right, there we go. So we've got these three right here. Let's start wiping some paint away. And you can see that these are not exactly what you call staining colors. I mean, there's a little bit left behind. Not a bunch, but that's okay. We're just looking to kind of tint this for right now. So you can see how much of the paint comes away there. Let's do the next one. You know, sometimes I'll almost go a little bit lighter. It depends on the miniature too. These are they're very armor heavy. These they got a lot of armor on them, the capes, the fur, and of course, again, you've got the fire right on top of them here. This was very different because it was essentially an off-camera light source. So this was a wee bit different. And of course, you have to keep in mind, you put too much yellow in there, it might be more like a candle flame, but it's not going to have that fiery orange. And again, here's here's another one. This is on the YouTube channel now. And then, whoops, this is what I'm looking for here. This is another one. This is also on the YouTube channel right here. You can see how orangey and red that is. Less with the yellow, more with the oranges and reds. Well, here, I mean, you can take a look at these guys. Much more orangey. Same thing with the Moria army. Emphasis on the oranges, the reddish orange, not a radish. So Dark Elf James, it was just some Fanchon red. There was a little bit of the fluorescent that got in there too. And then some of the asphaltum just to make sure it was a little bit darker. Okay. Now let's do a little more with the... But I didn't actually have to use as much of the sponges as I thought. I chopped up a whole bunch of them. Okay, that pretty much takes care of that. So now we're ready to start thinking about some of our lighter object source lighting here. This is the orange that we made. I'm going to let some of the fluorescent red get into that too. Let's start to lighten some things up here. Again, this is very opaque in comparison. So yeah, Dark Elf, James, the Fanchon Red, that is something that ends up in the pre-glaze an awful lot, or any kind of objects. Well, if it's going to be fiery object source lighting, you're going to see an awful lot of that Fanchon Red in it, especially in those darker areas. Might have to start to think about a bit of a shadow here too, maybe. A bit of a cast shadow. That could be pretty fun. Here, let's just get a little bit of our light there. And big difference already, right? Big difference. Here, let's continue. Let's continue here. Now you can, with the oils, you can't do this with the acrylics because, well, once you start adding water to stuff, you start losing opacity. But with the oils, we could, in theory, take something like a radiant lemon, and we could actually do a pin line wash or something like that into some of the flame areas there, because you would want the lightest color to be set down inside the flames, not on the outside. Rascal, it's not really, I mean, I suppose it's wet blending. I mean, it's wet blending. We're dry brushing, but it's wet blending. I know that's a little bit potentially contradictory right there, or confusing, but we're sort of wet blending. That's the whole point of the pre-glaze, is that sort of sets the stage. And to even here, you can see all that dark color in there. It is mixing, so there's definitely some wet blending going on. Now, of course, with something like these guys, I always will suggest work on multiple things at the same time. Slow yourself down. You don't want to get sped up too much. You go too fast. So I see right there. Look at this. Okay, see that there? Even though, oh, there actually is some flame over here. Wow, I didn't see that. It's been a while ago since I made these bases, so we actually have some flame over here. He's really walking, he's walking in fire. So we'll have to lighten this up too, I guess. And try and get some of the lighter object source lighting. Maybe start to get a little bit of the radiant lemon in there. Let's lighten this area up for sure. Here, a little bit more of the floral orange where we know we're going to want it, like right here. There we go. So Grim has posted the link to the Discord there. So come one, come all. Again, you can ask questions there, maybe get some answers, show your stuff. I try to be there when I can, or post stuff in there when I can. The one advantage of the Forge World versus, say, the old metal figures, there's a little bit, I have to say, more detail with the scale mail here than there is on the metal figs. I might, here, let's grab a little bit more of that Indian yellow. Make sure that is bright enough. And of course, you must have dark to show light. So we're actually going to be coming back into this actually with some, and we might just do that right now with some pin line washes. In fact, Fanchon red. Heck, maybe even a little bit of the Egyptian violet there. Just throw a couple of drops of thinner into that just to make it easier to get to. And then we have to let nature do its thing here. As then we just touch the brush to it and we let it, we let that just flow. All I did was, again, touch the brush to it. There's no swiping at it. It's not acrylic paint, so we're not doing an acrylic wash. That's not going to work so well. It will, it'll just wipe the paint away. Oh, the anniversary edition, that's it. Yeah, Dark Elf, that is definitely the one. The anniversary edition. Because, I mean, things have been around, what, 20 years or more? At least. I still, again, have not had a chance to play that yet, but that will be. That's going to be the campaign generator for our games of Lord of the Rings. All right, so see how that darker color starts to... Here, we got to do the same over here. Might even go with a little bit more of, say, the Van Dyke brown here. It's not just about making it dark, it's also about making that a bit more neutral. Thanks. That'll be great, Dark Elf James. Looking forward to that. Because I've seen so many interesting different results happen with that game. Things you really wouldn't expect. You can't make a plan. You have to respond to the hand that you're dealt. See that again. We've added some dark. Now, where's our other? So I think you can see the difference. See how the object source lighting gets brighter by virtue of making everything else darker. So yeah, that's really important. Let's continue that here. See, that actually, believe it or not, needs a little bit more. There we go. See, I added a little bit more thinner, and it spreads out the way I would like it to. Again, all we're doing, taking that brush, touching it to it. Now, what we're going to do is move away from all the orangey stuff. We have to start doing, well, the not orange stuff. Like all this here. It's not going to be terribly complex in many ways. It's going to be done very much the same way we're working on all the object source lighting stuff. So Vetbud, I'm not quite sure how caught up you are. The big thing lately has been the radiant colors from Gamlen. Been using those a lot, and we actually have a radiant lemon out on the palette. We've got the radiant blue, the radiant turquoise. They're sort of like brilliant yellow pale. They're only series 2, so they're not exactly expensive for one thing, but they're pretty darn helpful. I really didn't expect to enjoy those quite so much, but glad to have them. The radiant green is very fun. I've been using that actually in my metals as well. All right, so again, add a little bit of dark there. Starts to make our firelight that much lighter. So Dark Elf James, I would just use the oils on everything. I've used them on really, really, really small, those Cav figures, which were just, I've used them on Bones figures, which are pretty much the same material as the War of the Ring board game pieces. You'll still end up struggling less if you just go ahead utilize the oils there. Yeah, we're going to need a bit of a horizon line on that helmet too. We might do that. Gosh, do we have it on his? I think you can. Yeah, see how we have a little bit of flame on the horizon line of his helmet there? I think we'll do that too. Yeah, Vetbud, I really do let that Radiant Lemon that's a nice one. It really kind of complements the Brilliant Yellow Pale very well. I mean, I like the Radiant Violet too, but I'm just trying to think which ones would do you the most good right off the bat. I think we need to just darken this whole thing up here. Also his hand. Okay, so this again is one of our Forgeworld ones. So I have to get into some of our Perline Black. That is our dark green there. So you can really see again the difference, just how much lighter our object source lighting begins to look there. All right, let's do our same bit of darkening here. We've got our Van Dyke brown that's going to get into the face here. Perhaps even a little bit of indigo onto the helmet. And again, we'll be coming back into that with our Perline Black too. Make sure we get some darks over here on this edge. The darker this is, the lighter everything else is. And then we also wanted to have our shadow here too. Right, we might have some firelight sneak in. I think we should probably do that too. So the green is a good one. Again, I use it more. Well, I use it also for skin tones as well. The blue and the turquoise, those are fun to have. Well, obviously for sometimes your non-metallic metal stuff, but we've utilized those in our skin tones too. And you can always get more. You start out with those, and you find out, okay, wow, this one's really helpful. You say, you know what, maybe I'll get this one too. All right, so again, there's a little bit of dark there now, and that's just going to, there we go. That's going to create a little more contrast. Yeah, oh, Happy Heretic has been utilizing those as well. This one, again, this is the new video that we just filmed last night. Paint's actually still wet on this, but we used a lot of the radiant, you can see the radiant green in some of the golds right there. So yeah, we used a lot of the radiant colors on that. All right, where's my... Speaking of the radiance here, let's get into some of the blue there. Might combine it with a little bit of our white, but again, a dry brush here. But you can see how it's mixing with the pre-glaze that's already there. Now I'm gonna shift over here towards some of the green, just reasons, just cause. Just shift it towards the green. Gonna kind of avoid this area right here. You can see the glossiness of the freshly applied pin line wash. Where's our other Forgeworld guy? Yeah, Dark Elf James just posted that video to the Patreon page earlier today. As we go back to our radiant blue, we still got some of the green in the brush. I don't really care. And like right here, boy, you can see I just picked up some of that red. It means I just have to go back, get some fresh paint there. So you can see cool light and warm light. Oh wait, let's do this. Boom. Oh, you don't really see the color temperature difference. You don't see the color intensity difference. Cooler and grayer, warmer and more intense. One figure, two sides, tail of two figures. Again, the Forgeworld figure does have a spot more detail to it. Also, you only got the 10 paint set. Yeah, they should be pretty helpful for you, I think. I think you'll like those, Vetbod. Well, like I said, I was thinking, yeah, okay, they could be useful for sure. And then I went, wow, they are really useful. All right, there we took some of the, getting the Perline black, mixed it with the Radiant green, but still doing the dry brushy stuff here. I'll move away from that, back over here towards the blue. What the heck, might even throw a little bit of the magenta in there or something, just to gray it down. And speaking of some flame stuff, boy, it would have been nice to have the oils for my original Sisters of Battle army. That was, what, 2014? Yeah, 2014 I did that army. That was, well, the last of all of my armies. Last 40k army, last fantasy army. And here we go. We're going to have to scroll up a little ways to get to it, because that was a while ago we put the pictures up of that. Here we go. So there's the Sisters of Battle, tons of conversions, even some scratch builds there. So all of those, they were converted. Some of those are 20-year-old miniatures from, I think it was from Void, Icor, that was the name of the company there. That Exorcist, that was all kind of scratch built, the whole turret thing right there. And yeah, we might have actually, we may or may not have created an entire cathedral for that army. That was the display board. And yeah, the interior had tons of lights, probably about 5-6 pounds of batteries up in the roof of that thing. But then look at this. There's the new Sisters of Battle. And then it was all done with the oils. All of the, guess what? Object source lighting. Yes, and that's it. Look at that. Army Painting Series 19. Hard to believe we're on Series 29 now, but we are. So there you go. The non-metallic metal was easier. The object source lighting was easier. The freehand was easier. Everything so much easier with the oils. I was just having to work with the acrylics just a couple of nights ago. So Happy Heretic, there was very little Perline black. There was a tiny bit over here on this one, on this cloak right here. But since the other guys, the two Huskarls, the Forgeworld ones, they don't have, well, they have cloaks, but there's fur in front of it. We didn't really do too much with the Perline black there. The other Dunlendings definitely did much more with the Perline black. All right, I'm going to try and get me some more lights here again. We got to make this a dry brush here. Less is more. More. Way too much. I mean, if it gets too late, I could always just hit it with a bit of a pin line wash, tone that down. See, that is already started to, again, it's not dry, but it is set enough where I could actually do a little bit of my dry brushing over the top of it, not pick up too much. So yeah, the Sisters of Battle series, that's part of my Patreon page. And let's see, can I actually get to my Series 29 for you? Oh, that's going to be tough to get to, so here it is. There we go. So this is, that was Series 19. Here's Series 29, one of our 3D printed sets. These are from Archvillain. Obviously, sort of a vampire counts type of a theme. It's also the first army that has some actual monsters in it. So very different from the usual army painting series that focuses more on the infantry side of things. Back to some more. Here we go. See, that's got a little bit too much liquid in it, so we're just going to try and get rid of some of that here. Let's also get the sponges out of the picture. See what we can do here for some of our metals up there. So hopefully we didn't lose Queez and Megan. I know it's only Thursday, so see that? See, you can see the glossing. I can't do my dry brushing in there because if I were to do that, all it's going to do is just smear that stuff around. So we don't want to be a hasty little hobbit. We're going to keep things moving pretty slow here. Well, it's moving fast, but it's also, we're making sure we don't go too fast. See, I could do a little bit of a dry brush right there. And again, I always go back with a pin line wash or something. Much like what we did down over here. So let's see if we can't maybe get the lightest part of our firelight in here. I think we'll kind of focus in here on some of the radiant lemon. And that's going to be where our brightest part of the flame is here. Right at the base of it, we'll do the same over here. And of course, again, this is, we're working on this army right here in our Dunlendings. And here's the army again. That's some of the terrain pieces that we made. We created those on stream, and then we painted them on stream. So there's the building constructed, and then we painted it on stream. And we used the exact same paints that we're using here on this miniature. Hey, RJ, nice to see ya. I just looked over and I said, wait a minute. RJ can't be a first-time chat. So RJ, nice to see ya. Welcome to Twitch. I was like, wait a minute, why is RJ a first-time chat? RJ's not a first-time viewer, but to Twitch, yes, indeed. So how the heck are you doing? All right, let's see what the difference is now. You can already see the difference that's starting to make. Hey, Roger, nice to see you again. So Happy Heretic, there was very little. It was mostly Van Dyke Brown. There was a little bit of indigo, but mostly Van Dyke Brown, some of the Black Spinel, and some of the Asphaltum. Those were kind of the big three. There was a little bit of indigo up towards the top there where we knew it was just going to be the armor and not necessarily have any kind of reflected light on it. Now this is metal right here, so metal surfaces reflect their surroundings. So we're going to have brighter highlights on the metal than we will on, say, the cloth. Guess what, RJ? It's still Army Painter Anti-Shine and nothing else. Now, part of it has to do with the fact that I can just brush this on, which means 365 days a year I can varnish anything I want because it's indoors. Even in the summer, it's still not, as bad as the outside. So now with the oils, you just got to wait for things to dry. It may take a little longer, but believe it or not, RJ, it's the same stuff. It is the same exact stuff. I was really pleased when I didn't think it wouldn't work, but I was extra pleased when I found out that, well, yeah, the Army Painter Anti-Shine works just fine with the oils. That was really good news. So again, just trying to catch a couple of glints of light here. Hello. So again, these are the two Forgeworld Dunlendings here, the Huskarls. You can see we haven't done any of the lighter highlights on that, and I think you can see the difference of how the helmet is developed. And of course, all three of these, 1 hour, 32 minutes ago, there was no paint on these. There was not a zilcho, nothing. So how you doing there, Rise of Mages? Yeah, well, Rise of Mages, the other printer, well, the printer that I have, it just basically killed itself. And since we have to have a printer here, I basically got another one. I was hoping to get the large format Mono 10. And of course, as soon as I got this one, literally the Mono 10 went back on sale again for $100 less. And like I said, we had there was a furnace guy coming to do the usual inspection of the furnace stuff, and he was about 3 hours. Well, he wasn't late really. The window was from what, 1 to 6. He didn't get here till about 3:30. So I had actually spent 3.5 hours making build plates for the Sonic Mini 4K. So I wasn't about to lose 3 hours of those build plates plus everything else. Now here, now we're finally getting into some bright highlights here on our metal, especially on the metal. Get some down here too. But if you would have seen this, I don't know, half an hour ago, it looked like there was water on there because we had just done a pin line wash. None of this is dry, but you can see this. It's what we call letting the paint set. So we have let the paint set, which means now I can go in here and do all kinds of fun stuff. I could still come in here and actually do some lighter things there too. RJ, would be great to see those. Yeah, and RJ, if you ever want to shoot me pictures on Instagram or something like that, or whatever, feel free to shoot me some pictures there so that it's always fun to see what people are doing with the oils. I really love it. Oh, Grumdy, actually, if you want to post the pictures of the stuff that you painted with the oils too, I just realized that. Sorry, I forgot. Also, too, Armored Wolf, he's elsewhere. Oh, look at that. Look at the difference that just made there. That is definitely true, Happy Heretic. I mean, again, it wasn't a huge tragedy there because, well, it wasn't at the time because I needed to get those build plates made. Of course, didn't realize the printer was going to destroy itself the next day. So crazy, yeah, Crazy Wolf, you're right about saving the $100 right there. And that's even if it's in stock, right? No guarantee it's even going to be in stock. Now, so when you're leveling out your printer, that doesn't have any kind of weird effects on it then. So we're gonna, well, at least the FEP will be brand new. Oh, the other thing too is that they sent the wrong screwdriver. So I bought an Allen wrench that fit the stupid screws for the FEP, but they were so incredibly tight that it destroyed the Allen wrench. And it was one of those fancy Allen wrenches. It destroyed that right away. There we go. If everybody could please check out the link there from Grumdy. Grumdy's done some really amazing things with the oils. Now I actually got to get a little bit darker stuff going on with some of our flame there on the sculpt. Here though, I need to lighten this up. But as always, gotta be aware of how thick the paint is on here. Now, of course, where we've got this balsa wood, and actually you can see the basing video where I did all the bases for our Dunlendings here. That was actually a Twitch session, I believe. Hey, Acid Burn, how you doing? Yeah, Acid Burn, someone said to get like the star-shaped ones because they have more torque. And all it did was just get, well, stripped and destroyed within about 2 seconds. So yeah, there's just so many things with the Sonic Mini 4K that I just kind of found out the hard way. That's never fun, finding out things the hard way. So yeah, all of those, well, it doesn't matter. That wrench is pretty much destroyed. But man, those, because someone said, oh yeah, you need a torque wrench on those. You know, that's better than an Allen wrench. Not sure why that was said, but that's what was said. Well, first of all, why did they not include the right tool with the printer? All right, here we're taking some of, oh, that's a little too much of the asphaltum right there. Yeah, that's too much. Let's go, it's back to the Fanchon red, and I'm just gonna get a little bit of the fluorescent red too. And yes, that is fluorescent. You heard right, fluorescent oil paint. Taking powdered pigments right here, mixing them with linseed oil, and literally making my own oil paint here. Thanks, New Way Designs. That would be appreciated. I will await your advice there. So we did the same thing here. Powdered pigments, linseed oil, boom. Make the gold. Hey, Chapman, how you doing? Yeah, Chapman, I'll have to get... well, somehow we'll still have to get that large format. And again, it went on sale for $100 less just hours after I bought the second Sonic Mini 4K. All right, we'll just do a little bit more light there. We're going to welcome in Pablo Fernandez. Pablo, thank you very much. Hello, little hobbits. Oh, geez, fly, you fools. It's like, whoof, what's flying around is too much of the halfling leaf. Man, that guy is just, there was rings around his horse, man. Did you see those? So thank you very much for that follow. Thanks, New Way. Appreciate that. Yeah, I tried to change the FEP because, well, that's another one of those things about the Sonic Mini 4K is that the FEP that comes with it is super sticky and tends to mess up your prints and cause, the print to fall off of the supports. But yeah, no joy on that because those screws, those were never coming undone, ever. So Chapman, the new Saturn 3, was it the Jupiter? Is that the new one that they did the Kickstarter? Where everyone was really going crazy for that? Must have been the Jupiter, I guess. Now here, I might just lighten up a little bit of the fur on this cloak here. And thank you so much. Hey, Silent by Design. Thank you so much. Now, Silent by Design, I know every printer has its own this and that and the other. But one thing I can say is that Frozen stuff, while it's supposed to be really good, there's just too many caveats to it. There's a lot of Elegoo out there. There's a lot of Anycubic out there. It seems to be a lot easier to get replacement stuff for those than it is for Frozen. So that might be part of your logic right there. Also, too, Elegoo and Anycubic, there's more choices, and they tend to be cheaper. So there's also that. Here, let me see something here. Yeah, Rise of Mages, like there's other folks that swear by the Sonic, and I've had just nothing but bad luck with all their stuff. So it's and of course it can be where you live too. That the climate here is not one where I can use that frozen resin. And even the printer itself, I just don't think it likes this particular climate. The old junky Elegoo that I had, like an old Elegoo, it actually did better in this climate. All right, we're going to throw a little bit of a shadow here on this side of the chainmail. Some of these, this is our pin line wash that got a little bit on the darker side. So I'm trying to use some of the red here to maybe lighten that up a little bit. Yeah, they do get pricey, that's for sure. And there's just there tends to be this whole, well, the printer works great except for this. The printer works really good except for this. And if you don't mind this, then the printer works really good. And you don't really want those things. So Drax, were you able to get all of the stuff done that you wanted to this week? And yeah, sorry that I spaced and like reversed your week there. Thinking like you were streaming Wednesday through Sunday. Not quite sure. Well, I know how that happened. Basically got no sleep last night. Well, Rise of Mages, I just got the Anycubic from Amazon. The sale that I saw, I don't think it was an Amazon one. I think it was from Anycubic itself. All right, here we're gonna get some more dark right there. So the new work schedule might have you drop in Sundays. Well, let's see now. Was your Sunday? I guess over the years that you've been doing doing Twitch and stuff, were there any days that you kind of added over the last, is it it's 4 years that you've been doing Twitch, right? What was, I could swear you did your 3-year stream anniversary months ago. So I think if you're not at 4 already, you're getting close to 4. All right, so yeah, this is starting to balance out a little bit better. Some of the pin line wash in there just got, there's, I think, maybe a little bit more of the Van Dyke Brown that got into some areas than others.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
And thank you so much, Hyena Plus and Jurassic Slugger. Both of you, thank you very much for that file. That is appreciated. It's like, ooh, you shall not pass.
Little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
TV bought from Amazon. Even if you had it for less than a month, wow, that's kind of harsh there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the deal that I saw, that was from Anycubic itself. I don't believe that was on Amazon. But yeah, just hoping to get the Mono 10 so that we can, or the Mono X, sorry, so that we can at least try and do some of the bigger stuff. I mean, there are some really, really big figures, or even just like multi-part things, like the Archvillain stuff especially, or even just being able to, well, these, like, so the big steel dragon for this, I mean, I had to reduce the size for one thing, and then it was still like 3 build plates or whatever. Crazy Wolf, you have had a lot of people talk about the, what is it, the E-Packs. There's a few folks that are very, very dedicated to the E-Packs printers. Here I'm going to throw a little bit of a shadow onto to the handle of this. So yeah, this is a Forgeworld Huskarl. Lord of the Rings, of course. Now here's one of our older metal ones. It's from, what, 2005. But this is from the Printing Goes Ever On. So, and you can see we did again the Flaming Horizon line on the helmet there. I'm going to try and see if I can't get a little more dark right along this edge here. Oh, yes, oh, yeah. I thought I had done that with the pin line wash, but this is a little bit darker here. Oh, thanks, Nuclear Cowboy. How the heck are you doing? I was tempted to go even a little bit darker on that side. I don't think I'll go quite that dark over there. Here, let's also sharpen up that line. That's another form of contrast, is actually edge contrast, especially when it comes to things like, well, metal. You're going to want to have a strong edge contrast. Here we need to darken up our horizon line in a couple of areas there. And thank you so much, Local Brick Shop. Thank you very much. We're going to say hello to our newest little hobbit. He's like, seriously, why destroy all the ganja? You know, you want to take out some horsies and Rohan? Go ahead, man. That old dude is crazy. Thanks, Nuclear Cowboy. So the only, well, right here, this is proven to be the most reliable resin. This is the Soraya Simple. So I can basically clean it with regular rubbing alcohol I can get at the grocery store. And actually, I just got a 2-for-1 sale on this. That was really nice too. Oh, thanks, Grumdy. And the other thing is that it seems to print well in all weather. Whether it's warm or cold, humid or whatever, it is more reliable. And thank you so much, Grumdy, for replanting the ganja. Yes, indeed. And I've used that for really large prints. I've used it for hollowed stuff. And there's also the simple smoky. There's a simple smoky black. There's also the clear. And I want to try and do some water effects with the clear. well, let me see. I think I still need to separate that a tiny bit more here. That is a little bit too thick with the light. There we go. And then I think I need to get some dark on that side, and then this needs to be a little lighter right here. We need some reflected light on that part. So yeah, it was well, last night when all the mayhem happened, it was like, yeah, here it is at $600 on Amazon, and then earlier today I was searching for something else, and of course it was that popped up at $4.99. So yeah, the smoky black. I've tried other resins, and then that's where I found out. Yeah, it doesn't really like humidity. It has to be 70 degrees exactly. And since controlling temperature here in Chicago is an impossibility, that pretty much made it a resin that's a no-go here. I'm sure it prints out really well in areas with nicer weather than what we have, but we don't have that kind of weather here, and Grundy knows that. That's for sure. So this is a little bit of the indigo. It's actually got some of the radiant blue in it. I mean, this is facing more towards the sky, so we're not going to have the fiery light there. Glad we got that little bit of reflected light on this side of his helmet. Might do some more, but I'm going to see what I can do here with maybe his eyes. See if we can do those. Only use the clear. Yeah, oh, acid burn. I've only done a few prints with the clear. And it's only the only reason I even know about it is because I wanted the Soraya Smoky Black, but they sent me the simple instead. That was Amazon. So I'm like, what the heck is this? I thought there was something wrong with the resin. So yeah, Grumdy, there is just that maybe 1 week out of the year, and that is the entire 365. You might get 7 decent days, and that's it. All right. Is there more chainmail there? No, there's. Oh, maybe there is. Maybe there's also. I think we're gonna try and lighten up some of the fur here. Yeah, I know some folks they like to kind of tinker around with different mixes of resins too, and what does that add? The tenacious or something like that to things. Doing some alchemy with their resins. For me, there's just too much printing to be done. I don't have the time to do a lot of that. Speaking of printing, there's Lamines. So Lamines, how you doing? Yes, I don't know if I don't want to repeat it because everyone was just hearing the story of how the printer basically killed itself last night. And basically there's another Sonic Mini 4K headed this way because, well, that USB drive, which is all set and ready to go, well, I should just be able to plug that into the new one, and that should all be good to go. So, build plates, everything should still be saved. So McGregor, I know the person in the chat, they from Australia, they wanted to get the Soraya Simple, but it was too expensive in Australia. And I think he got the navy gray. Yeah, the fast navy gray. I don't know if it was fast navy gray, but it was Soraya navy gray. Glad that you're doing okay there, Lamines. Yeah, well, basically, again, the printer killed itself, like I was telling you. And I just realized, as much as I would have loved to just straight away gotten the new, the Mono X or something like that, I just said, no, I'm going to, well, just get another one of these Sonics because there's nothing wrong with the USB drive. And that's got the firmware updated on it. It's got all of my build plates and all of the stuff that I've been working on over the last 3-4 days. Instead of just basically chucking that stuff in the garbage because, a different model of printer. Keeping it the same means we also keep all those build plates. We're also doing a little bit of reflected light there on the back of that helmet. So actually, Rise of Mages, that's, believe it or not, it was that old Elegoo Mars. That's where I first started using the Soraya Smoky Black. That was one of the old ones. So here, let's look at the difference between these two again. So here is one that's got a lot of development on that helmet. You can see the horizon line develop there, and you can see much more of the highlights develop there. So we'll lighten this up a bit more. Maybe get a little more over here. So we've got our fiery light from our skull there. I don't think I want to dim that down anymore. Here, what we can maybe do is start to do the same on this guy here. Let's start to lighten some things up. Let's give him a bit of a horizon line over here. Like so. So yeah, that's I think that's one of the reasons why resin printing, it's a fantastic thing, but it is by no means a plug and play kind of a thing at all. Because depending on what kind of miniatures you're trying to do, depending on where you live, climate, there's a whole lot of variables. Maybe one day they get those variables taken care of, but until they do, it does mean there's a bit of plug and pray to use in a printer. All right, let's start to lighten this up over here. Let's just go back to our fluorescent orange, a little bit of the let's get some of our Indian yellow in there as well. So yeah, for whatever reason, you just have certain resins like certain parts of the country, and they don't like others. Especially here, where the weather can change 50, 60 degrees in less than a day. It can change 50 degrees in a couple of hours. That is going to cause some issues for some resins and some printers for sure. All right, starting to lighten up our... Trying to get some of our reflected light from our little flames. Oh, and the flames, by the way, done the same way we did the flames here. And that was with the heavy gloss gel. It's the same stuff we do for all of our flames. So Chapman, unfortunately, there's no secret volcano layers on the market right now. I was checking just the other day, and I think it's all part of the supply chain shortage. There's no evil secret layers. Of course, public listings for an evil secret layer kind of defeats the purpose, but was not able to find any available. They're all taken up right now. So 1,000 Young, you have a good one. Thanks for hanging out as long as you could. So yep, Lamines, I didn't even know there were such things as screen protectors. And you would laugh because just a few minutes before you came in, someone said, "Yep, a screen protector will save you $100," which I thought was funny because you said, "Okay, yeah, you can get a new screen. It's going to cost you $100." So yeah, that's and actually a friend, one of our buyers, he also uses a screen protector. Now, is that something you can just use some electrical tape? Because I would imagine that's got to be fixed to it somehow. Let's see. Yeah, that's right, Rise of Mages. Well, I hope that the move goes well, and it's not too much of a challenge here. Speaking of challenge, we gotta get a little bit more of that light. Sneak that up here onto some of the armor up here, like so. Yeah, so Grumdy, what I need is a secret lair where I can just like capture all the Amazon deliveries and just search for resin and printers in them. And Dick Blake orders too. Yes, that's the other thing. So if you suddenly find that none of those Dick Blake orders are going through, it means I was successful in finding a secret evil lair. But it also comes with some tape strips that you can put around the outer edges. That's cool. Yeah, the destroyed printer, I mean the tape came off of a whole huge chunk of the screen. I mean that was just a big massive disaster. Yeah, Rise of Mages, saving any kind of money is a good thing, but cutting that down by more than half, that's not going to be terrible, is it? And I'm sure a lot of other living expenses are also reduced a lot. Yeah, Chapman, that was another one of those things about the original FEP, and of course, I was trying to change that, and that is when those screws are so darn tight that it just destroyed the tool I was using. All right, here, let's get a couple of more lights. And oh, look, we've got some flames back here, too. We got to lighten this up now here. I think I've got some, yeah, I do have some of my fluorescent orange still over here. Well, you can see the impact of that now, of course. This is our homemade fluorescent oil paint. That means that it is essentially opaque, which is not something you usually get when you have fluorescent oil paints. Oh yeah, so it's become a community retirement center. So yeah, Lamines, if you could shoot me the link there in an Insta message, we'll certainly have one of those headed this way. Like you said, it's an ounce of prevention. Well, it probably doesn't weigh an ounce. It weighs a fraction of an ounce, but it will certainly be 100 hours worth of cure. So not a bad idea to have that for sure. Thanks, Lamines. So that does not sound like fun there, Rise of Mages. Oh, what is going to be fun though, I think, is getting some of our fiery horizon line on that helmet. We don't want it everywhere. We want it to kind of be like there's just a few little areas. See, not everywhere. We'll do the same over here, especially back there where we've got some dark. Then we're going to have to put our Prussian blue up here. Oh, so Lamines, so you just double up the FEP sheets then? Well, I have a bunch of those. Yes, remember I bought those and never got a chance to change that because, well, they didn't include the right tool. Then I bought a tool and then the printer destroyed the tool. So yeah, I tried. I gave it the college try, unsuccessful. Here, I just realized we got a little bit of our flamey stuff going on right here. So This over here also needs to get a bit more of a, but it's just more of an orange. It doesn't have really a whole lot of yellow in it. But just that tiny little bit here, it really makes all of this scale mail really have a little bit of spark to it. So I wasn't quite sure if there was just a specific thickness that was going to be okay, not okay. I could luminous. I mean, I have tons of extra FEP sheets. I could just experiment and see what the heck happens. I mean, it's not like that should be moving, right? If your vat is moving and making that sheet move around too, something's seriously wrong, isn't it? Now, what was the other thing that, oh yeah, the Z-axis sensor? I have to be aware that that can get gunk over it too. Just lots of weird design flaws, to say the least. All right. I'm going to try to expand some of the lighter orange on that. That literally is a piece of wood. That is actually a piece of balsa wood right there. Now I'm looking at his belt here. Oh boy, see some of the... I'm just looking around here. Do I want to try and do cast shadows on this? I'm looking at that. Maybe I should try and make a cast shadow on that side of that. I don't know. But I'm looking at this. I'm going to try and get the little bit of light on his toe there. Where did my brush just go? And you can see there's very little paint on that brush. However, because there's paint here, I can actually do a little bit of a dry brush and get some paint on that. Now here I'm going to try and lighten up this board a little more. I think I should probably lighten this up too. Grease Monkey, nice to see you back. Hope that you're doing well. Now the thing I believe we'll save this maybe for Saturday because it could be a longer paint session. Talk about a mashup here. RM printable figure, a leftover base from one of those archvillain figures, and then we've got these skulls here. Yeah, this is when, well, there's lots of lines and stuff on that, so we'll probably have to do some more work on that before we get some primer on that. Holy smokes, wow, Luminous, there's no glass there? You might have actually described to me trying to clean that, the nightmare scenario that you had, trying to clean that. Oh, maybe I think you might have told me that rather hideous tale there. Yeah, Chapman, that was how I discovered that the Z-axis sensor on a Sonic Mini 4K can get, well, basically obscured because it won't let you set that. It won't let you reset the Z-axis. It stops like, I don't know, 6 or 7 to 10 millimeters away from the glass, which is kind of useless. So thanks, Grease Monkey. Yeah, well, there's been a lot of object source lighting lately. Here's some of our latest. These are printed from clay cyanide. So I think this was our most recent one, our most recent session here. I think that was a Wednesday session maybe. And then this was a couple of weeks ago. We did this one from clay cyanide. I do believe I've got that one up on the YouTube channel now, just a kind of a shorter version of it. Oof, Laminess, that have your nerves recovered from that? Because I'm not sure mine could. All right, this needs to get lighter right here. I just realized that. Oh gosh, I'm gonna put some more of the Radiant Lemon out there. That's one of the newer Gamlin colors. Not expensive, just a Series 2. Just a Series 2. Yeah, Luminous, I was trying to clean off that screen, and of course I just couldn't see what the heck I was doing. And what's weird is that in some areas where I thought for sure I had scratched the screen, there was nothing. And then other areas where I didn't think I did, I was like, what the heck happened here? There was a definite, well, you could see there was mischief and strife that happened. Yeah, see how much lighter we can make that. And again, the flames, they were just sculpted on here with a little bit of our heavy gloss gel, which is the same stuff I use for water effects, which is also the same stuff I use for icicles. See if we can get this under there so you can see the icicles right there. Yeah, now you can see them. That's the same heavy gloss gel. I use it for water effects. I've even sculpted with it, basically like hair. I'd say a really large figure where there's a giant gap or a mold line. Making this a smidge lighter here, especially because it is so close to where the flames are. Now, Lamines, I was I was trying not to destroy it, and that's why I just stopped messing with it. Because I thought, okay, if I keep screwing around with this, I'll just destroy it more. And to, like you say, for about, what, 150, 160, I guess if you include shipping-ish, to basically have another one back again, it's definitely worth it. I'll have to keep waiting for the vat to come back into stock again. But definitely won't. I won't toss it for sure. We'll try and salvage it. Okay, yeah, there we go. And I don't think I need to do. No, I'm not going to do any more dark there. However, boy, I think I still need to get a couple of lights back here. And then I think because we still do have some flame over here, so why don't we also make these a little bit lighter, just like we made these guys over here. Believe it or not, this is still not the lightest color that I can throw on here. This is not straight up white. That's where the radiant colors really are handy, because it's a way to have something that is not white. In some cases, it's a long ways away from white. Especially things like the turquoise and the blue, and I guess even the violet. The green is fairly light, I have to say. I mean, I really enjoy the heck out of that green. Really love using it for skin tones, for metal. So that, okay, yeah. Now, over here we got to get some of our blue. We can't just have that be totally dark like that. These are someone in Italy. So Grim, what is which one is it? You'll have to if it's an eBay link or something like that, you'll have to send me that later, because I'll get a kick out of seeing that. All right, here, let's speaking of the radiant blue, let's dive into some of that here. It's also got a little bit of the Prussian blue, I think, on there too. Actually, Les, if you pick the screen up now, it's 20% off right now. Let's see, War Machine. Yeah, you'll have to send me the link there, because I did a few War Machine figures way, way, way back in the day, but I don't know how that ever got to Italy. Now, of course, way back in the day, I did have things like the Certificate of Authenticity. So if there's one of those, that's pretty hilarious. Let's see. So Laminus, now is that direct from, or oh gosh, Lamin, I'll have to send you. I forget what the name of the place was. Yeah, boy, I can't remember what it was, but it's obviously all about replacement parts for printers and such. I'll see if I can send you the link after the stream here. I do have to film a video after we're done here. And again, I just uploaded the latest tutorial video to the Patreon page earlier today, just a few hours before the stream. All right, we're talking about getting some Prussian blue here. Probably going to get some indigo into this as well. Where's our first one? So you can see now that's starting to be more in line with what we did there. Through Frozen Store on Amazon. So McGregor, it will depend on what paints you use, because some just take longer to dry. If you don't have any cadmiums in there, or not a whole lot of white or whatever, maybe, and if you haven't used a lot of paint, right, and not going crazy with layering and stuff, you could potentially, 2 days is really kind of pushing it. You might want to just wait for 3 days. I'm sure that I have done actually the varnish stuff sooner than 3 days. In fact, I'm pretty darn sure that I have done it in more like a 2-day time span. But then I also use much less paint than the typical person uses. Where is... that's a little bit of the indigo, little bit of the black spinel. So we chuck that here. We're going to take a blending brush. And then we got that hard line there. Not anymore. Look at this. I mean, it's as smooth as could be. You didn't have to do any kind of masking, right, for any airbrush thing or whatever. You just, boom. And that's all it takes. It can really be just that easy. I'm going to start to mess around with a little bit of the Perlene black here. That's basically just a pinline wash right there, because that needed to be a little darker, I think. And we'll just do the same here. Now, don't need to do as much with the grain because we have plenty of the object source lighting with that little flame source right there. So we might need to lighten that up some more still. Thanks, Grim. So now, Grimdy, was that the second one? Or was that the... Because there was 2 of them up there. I know that one of them went earlier today. And one of the old Artisan Guild figures too went. Well, as of starting the stream, there were 3 miniatures left up on the eBay there. I don't know if they're still around. It would be kind of handy if they were already gone. All right, now here, reflected light time. Lamines, tell you what, if I've got 2 of those things, I would not be opposed to stockpiling screens just to have them around, because supply chain stuff, right? It cannot hurt to have those just kind of around, just in case. It's all part of the learning process, which again is why that is also going to go into that video that I'm making of all the things that you really probably want to be aware of when it comes to 3D printing, that you only really find out either the hard way or just by experience. Now here we're trying to get a couple of nice little ambient light highlights on this fur. We will try and get a little bit more light fur on the fiery end. Just a bit more. So yeah, we're saving the third Huskarl. I'm gonna base that up, and we'll just do a regular tutorial video on that. See if I can't create a bit of a skin tone here. I don't know. I'm just gonna take some Indian yellow. Where's my there's my Fanchon red. Just do whatever. Make a bit of a skin tone out of this here. Yeah, spare screen, spare machine, spare everything. Crazy Wolf, what's nice about it is that it's the only opaque black, and it's very strong. It's a very strong color, and it also dries very matte. A lot of the other black, like ivory black, it's very weak. It tends to dry on the glossier side. Now, you could try Mars Black. It's not the same, but it's also not as expensive. And Mars Black has some of the same price. It's more opaque. Is it as opaque? No. Is it going to dry as matte? Probably not. But then, you're not paying as much for it either. It's funny, Lamines, that same discussion was, well, okay, the Mono X, that's 600. The other one is 350. But the 350, there is the knowledge that I already have of, all the crazy things that can happen with it. And then if you were to take all the hours that I would lose by trying to replace that with something else right now, I could paint enough miniatures to buy that Mono X. So it just made more sense just to replace what I had for the time being, so that I could keep my current projects going. All right, I think we're good there, but however, we're still gonna have to put some reflected light up there. We can't just have a big old thing of dark. Here, let me see what happens with this right along here, because believe it or not, metal reflects onto metal. It's kind of like an infinity mirror almost. We need more reflections over there. Where's my blending brush? Use this one here. Yep, Lamines, all of the large format stuff. We're still in the same boat on the large format stuff. So that is status quo, just like it was before. It's just, well, like, the other things that I would print, the smaller, the infantry size figures, or even, some of the larger infantry like that I can handle. But big old dragons, it just doesn't make sense to do 5 build plates for something like that, or the Lilith figure from Archvillain, which again, I have it, but do I really want to tie up that printer for potentially a week printing that one thing? So Coots, I think that's either on the YouTube channel. No, that's the gambling one. So the gambling one is on the YouTube channel. But if you check out the Twitch channel, pretty much probably last November, last December, something like that. Do I have one of those? Here we go. So yeah, if you want to see these guys right here, look sometime late last year, or maybe even January. I know it was when it was colder. That's when we did the conversions of these guys, and that is still saved as a highlight. Megan, how you doing? Glad to see that you're. Sorry, all of a sudden, there I didn't Didn't see the Megans and the Queezes anymore, so glad to see that you're still around. Here, I'm just gonna try and maybe get a little bit of a highlight there on the fur down here. So yeah, Coot said, check out the. I try to make sure that sometimes I forget, or sometimes the video is so like if Twitch was all twitchy, it becomes not really worth to try and save. As we're gonna try and get a little more light right there. Same over here. This too. Oh geez, yeah, we need definitely more light over here. And all this stuff. And I do, when I can, try to take some of the sessions and bring those over to the YouTube channel, maybe condense them a little bit. Nah, that's going to be too bright there, and that almost would have been too bright.
Spark my gun.
Thank you so much for that follow. And of course, it's like, oh, good grief. Everybody's setting fire to the ganja. Set something else on fire, like, I don't know, a hobbit hole. Especially that guy Bilbo. Wouldn't give me the ring. Yep, short Laminess. And let's see, I don't know if you do the arch villain or not, but there's or I think you do Monster Mini Mayhem, right? Those are two straight away that I could definitely think that they'll have some of the larger stuff that we would really. Oh, and then there's Loot Studio. Oh yeah, Laminess. You saw that Loot Studios did dragons this month. Of course. Boy, Grumdy, that's why I can't just, I have to still be able to do some of those 2D painting sessions, right? Because we need some painted backdrops for those puppet shows. I mean, really, especially for this guy right here. You know, let me see if I can find the Isengard. There it is. Yeah. You know, you've got your Isengard here, and then along comes this guy is like, yo, check this out, man. Got my own cell phone. And every so often, I just kind of call up Sauron and give him a ring. See what I did there? Yeah, so gotta have some more painted backdrops, don't we? Because that is just too darn funny. Laminess, well, yeah. Even if it was just Archvillain, pretty much every month of Archvillain, some other big dudes there would make for some sensational videos, if not live sessions, or both. Oh, looking at this. Now, we do I have one of those little, look at this. So, talk about party favors. Yeah. So, this right here, I can shine this. Now, of course, you could take something that doesn't have any paint on it, and this could just kind of, you could even take a picture of that, right? And that sort of tells you where the light is supposed to hit that. Oh, Aesthetic Deluxe, thanks. Oh, you should have seen. Oh, was it Grumdy? Was that Gandalf versus the Balrog? Yes, that was Gandalf versus the Balrog. That was a legendary painting session there, and much fun was had with that particular painting afterwards. Because Gandalf got his arms ripped off by the Balrog, which he didn't let any of us forget about for the longest time. So we're taking some Indian yellow. We'll just mix it with a little bit of the fluorescent red because that needs to be lighter over there. Hey, Deuce, how you doing? And of course, who was it that... Oh, that's right. Where is he? Where is he? Remember how sad Grima was? It's like, dude, man. you look really messed up. He's like, oh, Eowyn, man, she broke up with me. It's like, yeah, and she didn't even do it in person. It's like, no, man, she used that Palantir thing. It's like, it's got the worst keyboard app. Doesn't work. I mean, who breaks up with somebody by Palantir? This is terrible. Yeah, that is that's what's happened when you've sniffed too many resin printing fumes. That too will be you. Actually, Laminus, I was almost thinking about getting some heavier duty gloves to work with too. Yeah, that was quite the evening for Gandalf, wasn't it, Grumdy? But we'll have to paint another one of those because, well, that's one of those that got sold. And then, of course, Alex the cave troll, right? And Boromir getting the ring, but now, of course, Dark Queen Galadriel has the ring because she fed cave troll Alex. So what was it, 20 loaves of lambus bread? And shall we say the ring was revealed again? Because 20 loaves of lambus bread will get anything moving. Yeah, should this be a little later? I think we'll make that a little later too. Where's my... Again, that's the fluorescent red here. I was doing a little bit of a stippling there. Do the same here. Now with the fluorescent colors, there's a little different dynamic in when you can sort of go back and manipulate those. Sometimes you gotta wait actually a little bit longer on those maybe. Wait a bit longer on those than maybe your typical paint color. It's weird because they will look very dry, but again, we know they're not actually dry. See if I can't get some more skin tone color over there. So I'm just it's almost kind of a grayish pink here. I'm literally just using some of this magenta, mixing it whatever dirty brown colors over here. And now we've got ourselves some grayish skin tone color for his hand here. Kind of separates it from these wrappings around his arm there. Could possibly lighten that up just a smidge on the knuckles here. His fingers on this side. Don't want him to have the orange on there. It's not like they're, again, pointed quite towards the flames. Where's our other one? Here we go. So there's our two Forgeworld Huskarls. And again, so far, what have we got? 2 hours, 31 minutes. These had no paint on them. 2.5 hours. It is also entertaining. It's always fun when people say you can't do object source lighting on a whole army. I said, are you kidding? You want your armies to be faster to paint? Put object source lighting on them. You'll be able to tear through those things in no time at all. So yeah, Laminus, there's a couple of the big critters. Even Gwiz, I know last month with Archvillain there was a lot of gnolls and such. And of course this month with all the fun icy critters. All right, here, taking some of that, mixing it with the perline black that's there, so we're getting ourselves kind of a light muddy green. Gonna switch over to a little more of the radiant green to do this and that. Back to some of the perline black here. Why? Just so that it'll all mix together here. But I need to still lighten this up a bit more. We don't have a whole bunch of our fluorescent orange left over here. Again, we'll lighten that up just a smidge there. And we did do the, I think there was a basing stream on these guys, and where's our, oh, here we go. Because we also did the Wolves of Isengard the same way. So balsa wood essentially, and then put these little sticks right here. It's the same stuff we used on our terrain, and then we used the Liquitex heavy gel to develop the flames. It's the same stuff we use for icicles, for water effects, and everything else. No more light in there. Maybe something that casts a little light on the back of his boot over there. Something like that. And yeah, this is the next video that I'll be filming later tonight. And I'm going to be doing this with the TMM stuff. So yeah, we'll be using our interference paints on this. This is from Monster Mini Mayhem. It's the first time I've seen these guys primed. And I think we'll do some not shiny stuff on the gears and everything. That was a basing video that I also did for the Patreon page. Now it's time to get to painting the figure. I might see about maybe getting a little bit more of the orange reflected onto the visor there. Yeah, I'm just looking at the line, the way that light is going. Probably should get to that too. Here, let's lighten up. This, I'm looking at that. No, I'm not going to bother with the underside of the cloak there. I might get a few little yellow lights along the fur right here. If we can do this, I think so. So actually tomorrow, I'm not quite so sure what I'll be working on tomorrow. It sort of depends what I have ready, what I can set up. I'm a little bit more sure about Saturday, actually. I've got a interesting kind of combination of a few different prints that I think could be interesting. Now this, I'm gonna see if I can't take a little bit of my orange here. So it's the Indian yellow. We're throwing some of the red into that. So now that looks a little bit more like a flame right there. Well, that's the idea anyways. Oh, I'm gonna take this. We've been using a lot more of the Indian yellow in our flame effect stuff instead of, say, the cadmium yellows. Part of it is it dries at the same rate as everything else. I'm not looking for stuff that dries faster. What I'm looking for is something that, 90% of the thing or 95% of it is already dry, but there's this one part that's a booby trap. And I don't want to just be thinking, okay, this is dry. I can put my varnish on here, whatever, and then go, oh yeah, that cadmium stuff, that's still drying. So Lady B, how the heck are you doing? So I've never actually seen Critical Role. I've seen, I think when Kathy is maybe watching Pyro Club or whatever, and they go to raid somebody, then her screen shows all the different people streaming, and I think Critical Role will be there. So Lady B, I hope that you're doing good. I think I saw, was it yesterday or the day before? I saw some painting that you had done on Instagrams there. So that was looking really nice. I know you've been experimenting a lot with the basing materials. So hopefully you've been having some fun with doing the painting as well. I try as much as I can to check out what people are doing on the Instas there. Try and keep up with it all. All right, that needs some kind of a light along the edge there. We did it on this. Well, I actually didn't really doing that. We're going to do a little bit of reflected light there, but you saw the edge that we put on that axe there. We need to do it on this one. So you have inks and metallics, and should have used metallic pigments. Now, actually, I was looking around to see if I could find fluorescent powders, well, like the stuff we're using here, the Green Stuff World fluorescent powders, but so far they were more mica-based. So not so sure there. All right, we're just trying to get that nice little light edge along there. Don't want to do that too much. All right, I think here, boy, what I probably should do is this. Yep, I'm just going to do that. Now it looks like there's some reflected light there. Yeah, I know. Oh, actually, Lady B, there was, and even with this mica stuff, it said that it was fluorescent, but then also it was glow in the dark. So it was kind of a combo platter. As we lighten this up here, then we're going to darken down the top of that a little bit.
Spark my ganja.
And thank you so much, Systolic, for that follow. We are going to welcome our new little hobbit here. We almost grabbed a Saruman. He's like, ooh, yep, we're still here, but your ganja's not going to be here long. He's like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Poor Gandalf, no more ganja for him. Yeah, Lady B, I saw some of your posts there. You had a big old lineup of some of those Green Stuff World products and everything. That was looking really impressive. You know what I might need to do is take a little bit of the fluorescent red, some of the Fanchon red here, and around the eye sockets. I just realized we should maybe bring back a little bit of the dark here. So now, oh yeah, you can definitely see the eye sockets a little bit more. Oh, so another Instagram which showed all the GSW texture paint. Oh, okay. Because we've used a few of them. Of course, I was kind of hoping that they would all be different textures, and then instead of just, well, here's one texture with many colors, and I know that could be really convenient for folks too. So, I mean, that's cool. I was hoping that there would be a little bit more texture variety. All right, I'm gonna try and get that darker color under here. Let's see what happens with this. And then we might need to use our blending brush too along the way. I mean, it could be any one of these. It could be this guy right here. So you a bunch of a Black Friday basing material. Well, hopefully that stuff doesn't take too long to arrive. They sent me something. About a day or two ago, I got a notification. I never know what the heck it is. My guess is that it might be those the fluorescent gel, which is, I'm guessing it's just this stuff mixed with heavy gloss gel. Wouldn't you say, Grumdy? I think we were talking about that, weren't we? Oh yeah, that's well, Lady B, I'm glad that I'm glad that we have ensnared you into the joys of basing, because man, just basing means so much. I mean, look at this, right? It was literally a couple of pieces of balsa wood, that heavy gloss gel to make the flames, and look at the personality that it gives to that base. And here we've got well, okay, our Thousand Suns here. That really does create kind of that Zinchi look there for our Thousand Sun Space Marine. And, well, this was really fun too. Adding that stump right there and then all of the tree bark. Who would have thought? You know, the whole nothing replicates nature quite like nature. And here's a very simple set of bases. That's just a piece of Sculpey over cork. You paint a different design, you get a very different look to it. So both of these are actually army painting series on the Patreon page. Let's see. Oh yeah, Lady B. That's really good fortune there that you've got a local source for the Green Stuff World products. For sure. Here, let's get a little bit of the Radiant Green. I might need to go back with some of the Perline Black, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I just threw a little bit of that green there on the axe head. The color goes somewhere. It must go everywhere. We don't always have to just use bluish gray for metals. And I'm going to get some more of that green up here. What's going on up there? Do I need to try and darken that down some more? I don't know. I'm going to try to throw a little bit of indigo up here. No, it's not really going to darken it down. I'm going to try something different here. Let's see what happens with this. Yeah, actually, Lady B, I know a bunch of folks, they ask me about using the Daz air dry clay with those rollers. I saw Lockie do that on Zorpazorp there. I stay away from it myself. Actually, I was just I actually still have to put the Daz air drying clay in some Woodland Scenics molds. Actually, that's how I made this base. Actually, it's Daz air drying clay in one of those Woodland Scenics molds, and I just kind of broke off this one piece. It's a kind of a nice alternative to the tree bark, especially if you can't get that stuff. It has, in some ways, the same effect. Obviously, it's going to be a little less flexible, and it's going to be repeated a little bit more for obvious reasons. Trying to get a little bit of the radiant turquoise here onto the scale mail. Yeah, Lady B, I think, wasn't it Mel, the terrain tutor? He said something about throw a damp rag over the Daz clay as it's drying, and then it doesn't dry too fast, and it doesn't crack as much. I think it was Mel, the terrain tutor I was watching. That was a while ago though, so I'm not super sure. But now, of course, if you can download some STL files or whatever of texture rollers, and just if you could print those out yourself, if one gets destroyed, whatever, you print out another one, and they would just be like dedicated for the purposes of using with the air drying clay. Again, that's not something I was going to do because, well, I have all the Sculpey that I could possibly need. And the Sculpey is, well, we do so much of our basing with that. So again, just to throw a little bit of green out there on that sleeve. I just realized we never quite did that. What about our other Huskarl here? I think, yeah, we already did sort of take care of that sleeve. Here I'm going to get some darks, mostly Van Dyke Brown, I'm thinking. So some Van Dyke Brown. Not a pinline wash either. It's pretty close. It's pretty close, but not quite. I might even, again, take this Van Dyke Brown here, try and darken this area down a bit more here. And then along the side of this cloak, I don't know, I might even just do a little bit of a pin line wash there, just for the heck of it. So, I mean, it won't hurt your oven, but, and well, this is something I learned because in the summertime with all the heat and everything, and you don't want an oven going in the summertime, is you could just get yourself one of those toaster ovens. Get yourself a toaster oven, especially if all you're doing is baking Sculpey sheets. If you're baking Sculpey sculptures, that's not super ideal, but all you're baking are the sheets. The toaster oven will work, and toaster ovens, well, they cost a whole lot less than regular ovens. I would actually not mind just getting a toaster oven so that I could have that around for baking Sculpey in the summertime. Hope you, with the Cobra Metallics, yes, Green Fairy, looking forward to that report there. Actually, I think I might be heading. I never get a chance to ever raid Drew, Thunderdome Drew, so I might try to raid Drew here in a bit.